I think Stonehenge is kind of stupid. It's a bunch of rocks in a field on the Salisbury Plains or something. It's just a bunch of rocks, really. It was a bunch of nomadic peoples. They dug a big old circle with antlers, and then they put a bunch of totem poles up, and then about as much time between now and the pyramids passed, and these guys came and decided, hey, let's put some mounds, funeral mounds, where we bury people, and we put a bunch of dirt. And about 800 years later, some guys decided, what if we put some stones, like stones from a long way away, like whales? And then they did it. And then about 500 years later, they're like, let's put lentils on. Lentils are not the vegetable in this scenario. They're the long things on top of the rocks. And the rocks are joined like they're made of wood, like dovetails and whatnot. They're like big Legos, sort of. And it sort of just kept going on, and people kept adding to it, and they put a road in and everything else, and it just sort of grew from there. And then all of a sudden, the nomadic peoples disappeared because these guys, who were called the Beakers, they came and they buried a bunch of cups everywhere, and it destroyed their entire civilization. Well, we don't actually know that, but it might have been why. And then after that, it sort of became a mystery to everyone. And the people in the medieval times thought Merlin the wizard moved it from some giants. And then some guy thought it was the Romans, but we don't really know if any of that's true. Probably not the wizards. Maybe the Celts don't have anything to do with it. It wasn't the Celts. They were there, though, at one point, but they're unrelated. And then, as it were, it sort of fell into disrepair. It was privately owned for about 1,000 years, until this one guy, well, not until, but there was a guy whose name was Indigo Jones. He was an architect, and he thought it was the Romans. He was wrong. But then 1,000 years of private ownership, and this guy gets sent out by his wife. He says, hey, his wife says, hey, honey, we need curtains. Go to the auction, which is a weird place to get curtains. But he does it, and he goes out, and he buys Stonehenge for $6,000. And then World War I happens. And, well, no, hold on. World War I already happened. That's the guy who owned Stonehenge before died in World War I. And that's how he got Stonehenge. And, he gave it away to the British people. And they restored it. You can find pictures of them putting stones back up. I don't think that's very right. Stonehenge is kind of dumb.